If we ask this simple question, are you in favor of morality and justice? Everybody says yes. Second question, is it moral and just to inflict unnecessary suffering and death to other sentient beings? Everyone will say no. That's it. The whole issue of the way we treat animals lies in these two questions. Today in our world, except for a few hunters and fishermen, in the vast majority of cases, it is totally unnecessary to live out of the suffering and death of other animals, of other species. There are 8 million species on Earth. They are co-citizens in this world. They have not been put there for our use, or consumption, or clothing, or distractions, anything of that. They have a life on their own. They have an intrinsic value. They wish to avoid suffering, just as we do, and they wish to remain alive. So, in the book, In Defense of Animals, which is the natural continuation of the big book I wrote on altruism, I tried to make the case that today there's a huge ethical gap in the way we are now defending human rights, freedom. We abolish slavery, torture, and still, though we attribute infinite value to human life, we attribute zero value to animal life unless it has a commercial value. This is morally indefensible. On top of that, everybody is losing. The animal first. 60 billion land animals killed every year. That's 6 million every hour. 1,000 million sea animals, 120 million every hour. Wholesale massacre. They are the first loser. Second, poverty in the world. We ship 750 million tons of grain and cereals from South America and Africa towards the rich countries for meat production. They could feed more than 1 billion human beings in need. Third, future generations. The whole chain of meat production, starting from deforestation, transportation, methane emission from the cows and pigs and so forth, is the second cause of emission of greenhouse gas effect. After the housing, before transportation. The future generations are losing because of that. Fourth, on top of that, it's not even good for human health. WHO meta-study of 800 different studies shows without any ambiguity that regular meat consumption increases the likelihood of cancer and cardiovascular disease. So who is winning? Now we may invoke all kinds of excuses. Tradition, nature is like this. All those are descriptions without any moral value. There's not a single moral argument to defend the way we live out of suffering and death of other sentient beings. Full stop. And to show how far this gap goes, it has been shown, the WWF study has shown that over 50 years, we lost 50% of the overall population of animals. Some more, some less, but half of the population of wild species on the world has disappeared. Imagine that 4 out of 8 billion human beings will be wiped out. What will we say? But this was just like a news like any other. We didn't pay much attention to it. So it is more than time to review our attitude towards animals, to treat them as we treat some other nation. They have the right to survive. They have the right to have their environment. We are of course interdependent with them, but we must respect them, and by no means we should unnecessarily afflict them suffering and death. The French poet Lamartine said, "We don't have two hearts, one for human beings and one for animals. We have a heart or we don't. So please, make your heart big enough to include all sentient beings without exception."